What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my builds guide and unit review of Fallen Lloyd, our latest Grandeur battle unit, and this time he's also a sword infantry unit, but definitely with a much better perfect weapon in Dead Wolf Blade. So this is a 16 might sword giving him +3 speed, and at start of turn if his HP is at or above 25%, then he's able to give the foe penalty doubler status to himself and the allies in 2 spaces. So this is extremely unique because there's no other unit in the game that can give you foe penalty doubler as a start of turn bonus. So this is really good, and then on top of it, he also inflicts -7 speed and defense debuff to the closest foes and the foes in 2 spaces of that foe. So the splashable debuffs are absolutely amazing with such a huge range, and this is going to be helping him with the foe penalty doubler effect. And if you have allies that can debuff the attack of the enemy, that is also going to be helping him just stack up even more stats. And for his own combat, he's able to get +5 to all of his stats and gets additional stats in the combat depending on 15% of his visible speed stat. So this is going to be anywhere from 8 to 9 extra stats at max investment. So he essentially gets +13 to all of his stats, which is not really all that common for a free-to-play unit. And then he's also able to get 40% damage reduction on foes' first attacks, including the brave hits, and then finally he has got the guard effect on the foe in the combat. So this is a good defensive effect and can certainly help him in game modes like Arena. The damage reduction is going to be pierceable, but still he's able to stack up a lot of stats because of the foe penalty doubler effect, and with his own weapon giving him even more stats. And he has got good speed at base 46, unfortunately doesn't have a super boon, but he does have super boon to his base 43 attack. And his mixed build can actually be helpful in many of the matchups where you're going to be facing mages or dragons, and those are definitely going to be appearing in Arena. And when it comes to his skills, Attack Speed Ideal 3 is his 4-star skill, and we definitely have got a lot more units with it. But what we don't have is a free-to-play unit with a damage reduction skill in Repel 3. So this skill is finally in the Grail pool, and I really like their precedence because it takes a long time for many of the premium skills in FEH to trickle down to the Grail shop, and I'm glad that a damage reduction skill is not one of them. Its effect is still not the best compared to Close Call or Spurn, but still it's a damage reduction skill, and even if you're not merging Fallen Lloyd, this can be a good bridge fodder. Comparing him to the existing free-to-play sword infantry units, we've got Lumera and Holst, and even though he doesn't have a super boon to his speed, he's still gonna be faster than them, and he also has about as much attack as them. And if we're going to be comparing their weapons, then of course Lloyd is going to be blowing Lumera and Holst out of the water. He does have the guard effect just like both of them, but he's able to support his allies with the foe penalty doubler status and also the debuffs, which have a huge range, and his weapon gives him a lot more stats, even more than the bonus doubler of Holst. So he's the Grail unit to pick if you're trying to invest into a sword infantry unit, and he also scores more in Arena because of having more BST. And comparing him to this gen's sword infantry units, he is going to be again competitive, his mixed bulk is going to be helping him, and his speed is still going to be good enough, and he's going to be stacking up a lot more stats than the Arcane Devourer sword infantry units like these. His main competitive use is going to be in Arena, and he's on par with Fargus when it comes to the highest Arena scoring free-to-play units. And the other units in this tier are pretty much armor units, and you'll have to run distant counter melee sacred seal to get the max scoring, and they're not really surviving the modern nukes even when far saving. There are going to be many units in the lower scoring category which are still pretty good. Fallen Lloyd is a solid package for arena scoring, and he does have a solid weapon that provides the foe penalty doubler status without entering the combat like Panic Smoke 4, so that's already a huge advantage. And his debuff range is really huge, and that is extremely useful in Arena where you can just set up the debuffs and let your bonus unit get the kill. And he's also one of the best scoring options in the Grail pool, and he provides unique support, so he's going to be aging well than Lumera or Holst that didn't really provide any kind of support. And he's also going to be amazing if you have any kind of attack ploy or sabotage attack or ruse skill users, because you can use the ploy skill to disable the grand strategy of Legendary Male Robin, and if you're running something like attack resistance ploy on your female Kana, then it pairs up really well with the foe penalty doubler effect of Lloyd. And if in the future we get some kind of free-to-play unit who can inflict the sabotage effect and they can score well in Arena, that is going to be cherry on top with Lloyd, and I kind of plan to use him with my attack resistance ploy, NieR female Kana, but there are definitely going to be some reasons why you may not want to invest in him. Not having the minus and special cooldown does mean that you'll have to rely on Emblem Marth, and if you haven't really got Emblem Marth, then that is going to be trouble at max investment and at the higher level of usage. And there's just so many sword infantry units that if you don't really care about his arena scoring, then you can just pick other units who have flat damage reduction and have a lot better bulk. And the thing is that he's going to be added into the Grail shop in July, and the next month in August we're going to be having Choose Your Legends 8, and the next BST bump is going to be in that. So if you're low on Grails, then you can maybe try and wait for better arena scoring options that are going to be scoring higher than Lloyd and have even better supported weapons. So overall, I'm pretty happy with Fallen Lloyd, and he's going to be a good upgrade if you don't really have Holst or Lumera in your arena core. And even if you do, if you have a lot of Grails and a lot of feathers, he's still going to be a big upgrade because of the debuffs and the support that he can provide. If you're going to be using him on super budget, you can just give him Attack Smoke, and that is going to be pairing up well with the foe penalty doubler effect of his weapon, and Null Follow-Up can be the Sacred Seal that he can run. But because he has got Repel 3 and Attack Speed Ideal 3 on his base kit, you can easily get the tier 4 versions from Divine Codes and run those skills, and Attack Speed Oath 4 could also be run so that he can boost up his stats more. And remember that he does get extra stats based on his visible speed, so getting any kind of visible buff to his speed is going to be helpful. He's going to be stacking up enough damage reduction, and he does have the resistance to take on many of the mages, so distant counter melee is going to be the main Sacred Seal you're going to be running on Fallen Lloyd. And if you're going to be investing even more into him, then the best slotty skill is going to be Attack Speed Finish 4 by far. And like I mentioned before, Emblem Marth is going to be a huge part of Fallen Lloyd's playstyle because he doesn't have minus and special cooldown. So with this, you can have Godlike Reflexes at 2 cooldown, and then we can get Buffer 4 and the finish skill from Severa in the Divine Codes. And this way you can pre-charge Godlike Reflexes, stack up the damage reduction, and actually get the unpierceable damage reduction out of Godlike Reflexes, which is going to be quite valuable. And then you can run Attack Speed Pledge in a slot C so that you can get the special charges status and loop Godlike Reflexes for the subsequent combats. So this is going to be the high investment build that is going to be benefiting him quite a lot and plays off his strengths well. And he can definitely tank with all of these stats he's going to be getting out of his weapon. And if you're going to be investing even more into him, then Distant Bonus Doubler could be the slotty option. So this way you're able to get Distant Counter and the Bonus Doubler effect, and you can also run that as a Sacred Seal. And you can run Defense Res Pledge from Attune Sita. And unfortunately, Guard Attune skill is not the best thing for him because he already has the Guard effect out of his weapon. So Attack Oath Echo is going to be a bit better with a build like this. And he's going to be stacking up a lot of stats with Foe Penalty Doubler, with Bonus Doubler, and these stats he can get. So if you're all about stat stacking, this is the build that he can run. In the future, Velocity 4 could also be an option that he can run over Buffer 4, but I do like the pre-charging that Buffer 4 gives you, and it pretty much allows you to run him on any kind of team without any kind of pulse support. And if you're a really big Lloyd fan, you can run him with Eulogous Friend 4, and this is going to be the best lot B skill for him at this kind of max investment because it gives him the flat damage reduction, which works well with Godlike Reflexes. And then you also get the damage reduction piercing, which is really helpful when nukes have a lot of damage reduction. And it also allows you to get the special jumping, which means that you don't really have to run any kind of pledge skill or anything like that to trigger Godlike Reflexes. Again, Emblem Marth is going to be needed, and you get the healing and true damage out of the finish skill, so it stays there as a really solid slotty option. And Pulse Smoke could actually be an option, and it pairs up well with his Guard effect because you can stop the enemy from charging up their specials. But then again, we have got a lot of special jumping and a lot of pre-charging nowadays, so that could be a bit annoying. So you don't want to run Panic Smoke 4 on him that you're probably going to be running on a lot of Omni tanks, and that's why this could be one of the options that you can run. It's not the most premium option, but still it can get the job done. And if you're going to be using him in Arena, then getting the Ascended Fur combat manual from the Divine Codes is going to be certainly helping you. For his IV, speed is going to be the option, even though he doesn't really have a speed super boon. Still, you kind of need it so that he can stay competitive with the insane fast units, and you can run him with Vital Astra. And again, Emblem Marth is going to be helping you loop Vital Astra with Time Pulse 4, So this way you're able to stack up the damage reduction, and you also get some damage reduction piercing with physical null follow-up, and he doesn't really get null follow-up out of his weapon, so having this in this lobby can actually help you in many of these scenarios. So this is one of the Divine Code's arena build you can run, but you can always run Buffer 4 and Attack Speed Finish 4 to pre-charge Godlike Reflexes, and this is going to be enabling him to tank even more threats in arena, which are going to be having damage reduction piercing, so their Godlike Reflexes really helps a ton, and Attack Speed Oath 4 can help you just teleport around and have better mobility, and also just stat stack even more. And if you want to run the best arena build, then again, Eulogous Friend is going to be the skill of choice. And Infantry Null Follow 4 is actually a pretty good option for his Thoughtseize, as he can support his allies even more, and he himself gets the Null Follow-up status and the Order status, so it helps him as well. And you're going to be stacking up a lot of unpierceable damage reduction, which is always going to be helping you in tanking the modern nukes. And even though he doesn't really have the highest defense or resistance, the flat damage reduction is still really effective when it comes to keeping up with the threats in arena. You can click the link on his stream right now to check out my refined review of this month's refines, and make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I wish YouTube sub boxes would show my videos as many times as Emblem March showed up for his builds. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.